if you tithed, what percentage would it be? Would you tithe? If you got into an office which was paid for by the taxpayer. A UKIP office paid by the taxpayer. I'm particularly deliberately giving us people time to come back.
Who doesn't know what it means?
You're talking right.
If
Okay.
you're
Sorry,
elected to office,
yeah.
if you're elected to office,
Right.
even David, if you're elected to public office, that means not internal UKIP office, the public office.
Yes.
For UKIP, would you time? Would you promise part of your income? And what percentage would you promise? Quick one, very easy. This will be a yes, no.
No, it can't be yes.
I'm not sure what the percentage would be. However, if there was already an agreement in place, which being 5%, 6%, I don't know, whatever it is, of course I would agree. Many of the elected members in UKIP already are elected via lists. They're not elected on merit or by name. They are elected because of UKIP. So yes, there should be buy-in. Absolutely, and I would agree to that. Whatever the membership or the party management would decide. Absolutely fine by me.
Thank you, Ben. Henry Bolton. In case you wonder why am I putting it to particular candidates, because here's the list. Now, the people who have overspent their pennies are, well, obviously David Coburn, followed by Jane. We have up to 10, Peter, and David has spent 7, which means he has 3 left.
Well, I'd like to answer this one.
I'm afraid you can't answer all of them, though, so spend your pennies wisely. Now, Henry, you are behind. Would you like to answer this one?
Certainly. Thanks, Freddie. It's about supporting the party. And if you're going to be asked to put funding into the party, and I have absolutely no objection to that, and I think it's a good idea, and we're doing it in various places at every level of elected public UKIP person who's elected to public office. We are already doing it. The problem is that it's not unified, there's not a clear policy on it, and there's not a clear way of buying in, and at the moment, people who do that, certainly at the top end of the party, at the higher level party level, it's not clear what's happening to that money, and it's not clear that it's being used in the most effective manner. And therefore, a lot of people are using their money to print leaflets for candidates within their constituency area and so on. Now, that's a problem. If we've got a clear policy on this, then absolutely, I'm happy to do it, yes.
Thank you, Henry. Again, you don't have to answer this one, but Bill, if you wish to.
Yes, tithing is important. When I was chairman of Dudley House Zone branch,
No.
and JRE agrees with me, so and unless any of you can doubt it, keep it quiet. What we've got is we set up a tithing system. All people are elected to public office, and there are rules in place for this anyway. And in branches, if any of you had been elected to office, some of you have, you would know that you actually get to pay an amount. Plus, many of us have studied general elections, and JRE went round as his own pocket, spent money. You spend your own money. Plus, the MEPs who support JRE, me being one of them, pay to the branches in our area as well. So spend a huge amount of money, and JRE totally supports that. And we believe anyone who doesn't pay in, really, what do they do with that public money? Plus, anyone who hasn't been elected into it, really, what are you talking about? How do you even know the system? So I suggest that we talk about this from a point of informed debate. And those of us who have been elected, maybe we should be paying in, but if we're not, we should justify that.
Very important. It's an MEP issue. I should talk about it.
David Coburn.
Yeah. Well, I got special dispensation from the NEC to give my money to Scotland because Scotland wasn't getting any money. And I have been doing that. As a matter of fact, I ran dinners. It cost me £700 to take a bunch of millionaires out for dinner at Boysdale's. That was just a dinner. That didn't include £1,200 worth of cigars and brandy. It was a very successful dinner because we got a lot of money out of it. And I do that regularly. Now that cost me an awful lot more than the money I'm supposed to put in, and it's worth every penny. I am more interested in seeing MEPs and councillors and others not reaching into their own pockets massively. I'd like to see them go out there and get other people to bring money in. I don't want to see MEPs pulling money out of the pocket. I want to see MEPs raising money for the party That is more effective. That's a force multiplier and a lot more sensible. And also, it must also be said there are other extenuating circumstances why someone didn't pay in. Some of them didn't pay in because the party was squandering money on excessive wages for the, what was the word I used before? The salaria.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. David, you have spent 8.
There you are.
There's Aidan Palsland, and if you wish, you can switch this one to your integration agenda answer.
Thank you.
Which you felt strongly about.
Yeah, so I want to say something about the integrationist agenda. I think we all agree that FGM is a crime that should be punished. All of us, all the candidates agree on that. As it happens, I also agree with Marion that head coverings should be banned, not the burqa specifically. But I want to make a broader point. Face coverings, yes, forgive me. But I want to make a broader point about the effect the integrationist agenda had on us as a party in our relationship to the faith of Islam. Dr. Johnson said that to speak of any heterogeneous body of persons, such as women, as if they were homogenous must be a mistake. When we produced the Ban the Burqa policy, our London Regional Council Treasurer, who is a Muslim, resigned. When I campaigned in 2015 for Parliament for UKIP in Harrow East, my colleague in Harrow West was Anil Bhatti, who is a Muslim. We should not be treating all Muslims as if they were the same when we are a libertarian party.
Thank you, Aidan. Of course not. Does anyone else wish to answer the original question? If you need reminding, you didn't need to answer it. Then, right, here we're going into, again, nasty stuff now. Other than during this leadership campaign, and Stoke, after the referendum, what grassroots canvassing for the general public have you done? Henry Bolton.
I spent 5 months fighting the Police and Crime Commissioner election in Kent. And then moved on, and I've been actually recently supporting
I must interrupt.
Yep.
You may want to reconsider. No time. Go on. After the
Correct.
referendum.
I was hoping you would
I
notice
know my
that.
dates. Don't try and pull fast ones.
I got my chronology a bit back to front.
You did.
Actually, only last week I was in Dover and Deal helping one of our candidates for the town council in getting himself elected on the 7th of September. He's fighting a by-election, so I was out there doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Now, first Bill, and then Peter.
John Rhys Evans has become notable since the time of this question for being tireless. He has been everywhere campaigning with our branches, speaking to our branches, producing those superb videos that so many of us gained from during elections. John has gone out there and worked his socks off. He has spoken to people, he's attended public meetings, he's gone everywhere. This man is almost incredible with the enthusiasm and energy that he brings to the table. And it's one of the factors that makes him the man who really is the leader in waiting. Because this man understands how we work at grassroots level. He understands that because he's done it. He's gone through it with us all. He speaks to us all as equals, fellow campaigners, fellow freedom fighters. The man is totally dedicated. He works his socks off. This question is made for John Rhys Evans, and I'm glad to be able to speak up for it, because there is no one who you can call on who's done more than John.
Thank you so much. Peter Whittle.
Yes, so dedicated that he didn't even stand in the general elections.
He went round
There's no excuse for that. In terms of what I've done, since I came into the party in 2012, I stood in Eltham for the 2015 election, brought the party from more or less nothing up to third place at that point. Stood in the local elections twice. I also stood as a London mayoral candidate, and that was fixed. That was a very. I did a hell.
Andrew.
Will you be quiet? I did a hell of a lot of campaigning on a grassroots level for that. all over London, and as a result, obviously, fortunately, one of the things about that particular election is you get the focus is very much on one person. I think it's a very, very good apprenticeship actually for being leader or in a senior position in the party. And since then, of course, before the referendum, I also again obviously stood for the local election. So basically, I have been on campaign footing virtually since I've been in this party.
Thank you so much, Peter. Ben Walker.
Truth is, I can't actually remember how many times I've been out in the grassroots helping people trying to get elected on a town councillor level. I will tell you what I have done recently. I've been in Telford and I've spent the day there in Telford helping Tobias try and get elected on his town council. That was 2 weeks ago. I have also been with our Richard Palmer over there who sat in the crowd and helped him for a few hours over in, sorry, what was... Sitting Bull was the place we went. And actually I'm going on Thursday, I'm going to Weston-super-Mare to help another candidate. That's what's helping people is, not what Bill's talking out there, I'm afraid.
Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, there was hectoring of Peter during his questions, his answer, and therefore we gave him more time, so it doesn't really work. So now, the next one is David Kerr.
Thank you very much. I'm always happy to help the party wherever I can. I've been to Kent and helped in Gravesham, who was there with you after the referendum. Also when Victoria Ayling was standing in Sleaford, I went up there a couple of times and I've helped in Stoke a lot. I've also helped with fundraising, and I can't remember all the branches I've done fundraising with, but Southwark, Bexley, Castle Point, and I've been to a patrons dinner in Gloucester where I gave a speech. So and I'm always on the media as well, and you may have seen me before the previous election being surrounded by young people in a young person's news night, and that was a tough audience, but you know, I love to represent the party wherever I can, and I'm getting quite well known in the media now. People want to see me talk about education, the BBC phone me up and so on to do that. So I will be very, very happy to continue to do that, and I hope you think that I've represented the party well, and you know, that could be good for a leader in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Now I'm Jane.
Thank you. Since everybody's talked about what they've done prior to the referendum, I don't see why I shouldn't.
Not sure they have.
I think they did.
Peter did.
2 by-elections, MEP election, parish councillor, and I'm looking at the faces over there and over there. There are gentlemen in this room that know I've travelled the country over a period of years, canvassing and helping in by-elections and local elections for all sorts of different candidates. And I went up to North Yorkshire the other day to see Stephen Place. We were canvassing for extra car parking. I usually do a lot if we know there's going to be a library closed. It's one of my pet things. I really hate the fact that they're closing libraries. And yeah, I basically work at grassroots level as much as I physically can, but I obviously do have to cross that water, but never mind, unfortunately.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jane. We've got some real humdingers here. If you really want to...
Since the referendum, I will answer the question. I campaigned for 1 month full time prior to the local elections in May of this year, and I spent more time campaigning in the districts of my fellow candidates than I did in the one where I was standing. Now, I don't think that the leader should be particularly focused on grassroots campaigning, because I think it's not efficient, although it is very important that they do some so that they meet the membership and the electors directly face to face. That's obvious, but nonetheless.
Thank you. There are 2 parts to this question, and they're both yes/nos. So please, just let's do it with yes/nos. 1, can you do this job as leader without a salary? Part 2, will you work on Sundays? Bill Etheridge. 4JRE.
John Rhys Evans will work all the time as required. He's a man of independent means. And
Yes or no?
Yes.
What about Sundays?
Yes and yes.
Sundays?
Will you work Sundays?
Yes.
He
Good,
said he
Peter
would.
Whittle. If everyone's saying yes, yes, then this was a bad question.
Yes, it's bad.
A bad question. Anyone's going to say no? Okay. You're going to say no, Henry.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
I will need some form of income.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. It's okay.
Here's the difficult one now. That's easy. Anne-Marie, sorry.
Yes, please, yes. I had initially thought, yes, I would be happy to do it for nothing. Until I found out some of the salaries other people are being paid. Now what I would suggest, I can't live on fresh air, nobody can. So what I would suggest is that if there's a new chair, which there would be, we'd half that salary and share it between us.
Okay, thank you. Here's a difficult one. I'm going to do it extempore rather than
Excuse me,
reading.
Freddie.
If you wish to.
I just want to say on that point that I would also halve the chair's salary, but I wouldn't give it to me.
No tokens for that. Right, now this one's really hard and it's different. And I will use wildcards if necessary. I've looked at the numbers myself, and if current trends continue, which really have little to do with conversion, it's largely to do with birth rates more than anything else, more than immigration, we will live in a society where by about 2060, about, give or take, there will probably be a Muslim majority in Britain, maybe 2070. By about 2080, there will be a Muslim voting majority. It's very arguable after that whether that would change anything. I do not see any presumption that Muslim majorities mean Sharia law. Many Muslims do not support it. They might want to practice it privately but not have it imposed on others. But this is a question that has come from 3 sources, including one just here, but there are 2 others, and possibly more. I haven't read all the texts. So, do you think this is a problem? And if it's a problem, what do you do about it? I'm going to take the mickey of the kindest of candidates, Aidan Powell's down here, who is counting. You know, if an asteroid's coming to hit the Earth, the point we have to do, what we have to do is stop it. When it's far away, we've got to deflect it a tiny bit. Change attitudes, maybe. Attitude has a physics sense. What about this one?
Thank you.
Is this a problem which we're facing?
Freddie just extrapolated what would happen over the next 40 years and beyond.
More than 40.
And beyond. Let me do another extrapolation of exactly the same sort, which is that in 2060 there will be approximately 1.5 times many atheists in the UK, non-believers as the Registrar General would say, as there will actually be people. So I think the point is this extrapolation doesn't make a lot of sense. Non-believers have increased between 2001 and 2011 at approximately a rate of 50% according to the census. This is not the same rate of increase as we see in the Muslim population, but it is from a much larger base. And the point I'm making is that this extrapolation is nonsense.
Thank you, Ed. Ben.
Very, very simply, what we need to do as a party is get our vision straight. One of the major things that we should be running with is one rule of British law for all, and that is it.
Thank you, Ben.
Once again, saying one law for all is not enough. It's when you put this into practice that you meet the problems, and then you're going to have to deal with those problems. And you're going to have the courage and knowledge to deal with those problems. In answer to the question, yes, it is a problem. It doesn't necessarily have to be that Sharia law will be voted for in a Muslim majority, but if you understood Sharia law, you'd understand that don't take that risk. And what you do about it is stop the immigration first of all. That has to happen. And these attacks on people who say so has to stop. We also have to stop the madrasas and the schools that are teaching hatred of our society to Muslim children. And finally, stop the benefits and the polygamous marriages that are producing 20, 25 children to a man. This has to stop. We will make Muslims register civil marriages just like every other religion. We will subject them to British family law, and we will stop paying out masses in benefits for polygamous families. This is just the starting point.
Freddie.
Right, sorry, Henry Bolton.
This may surprise you to learn, but I actually agree entirely with Anne-Marie on that. I think also we need to have a discussion about what it means to be British. I would like to see UKIP, without necessarily answering that question, start a national sort of reflection on what it means to be a British citizen. As we go forward, we've got Brexit. How is the world going to view Britain? How do the people in Britain view themselves? What is our national identity? What is our ethos? What are our values? We need to think about that as a country. We've gone down the multicultural route, but we have forgotten that we've got our own culture. What is it? We have to understand who we are as a people, because if we don't, this indeed is going to be a significant threat going forward. And I would also add, just to add to the threat scenario, that by 2050, the African continent is probably going to double in population and have a problem with resources. Where are they going to go, and where are they going now?
Thank you, Henry.